Covering all local and area sports and teams with your host, Scott Hardy. And your phone calls at 256-234-6221. If it's sports in the Lake Martin area, we cover it. The Lake Martin Sports Roundup right now.
Good Tuesday evening. Welcome into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy this evening, taking your phone calls at 256-234-6221. Love to hear from you out there. Just getting finished up with Sports Call this afternoon on Tiger Communications. Glad to be here on Lake Broadcasting, as we'll be not only on the radio side, 97.5, hopefully you're tuning in there, but if you're looking for us on the television side, Charter Channel 3 here in the local community, and then from 7 to 9 tonight, we'll move statewide with Sports Blitz Live. Scott and I will host that as well. You can pick that one up again, 97.5 and Channel 3 Charter, but also on Charter Channel 80 statewide. So make sure to tune in to all. And it's a great time to be a sports fan, especially a high school sports fan at this point, with spring sports moving down into the end of the season. We've got a lot of great teams still competing for some championships out there. We'll have the Horseshoe Bend softball team up here with us as they cap off an area championship season, and they'll move on and play in this tournament. They've been oh so close too many times over the past several years, and they got a very good shot. We'll be on the road Friday afternoon as we'll head over actually at 11 o'clock. I think the start of the game will be at 11:15 Friday afternoon for Benjamin Russell High School taking on Northview in the semifinal soccer matchup. You can tune that one in right here on Kowaliga Country 97.5. Really looking forward to that, Scott. But plenty going on. The girls soccer team did lose out from Benjamin Russell this past weekend. Very close contest, but they had an outstanding season. But we'd love to hear from you. If you're out at some of these ball games, you got kids you think we need to talk about, or you'd like for them to come up here and be a part of the program, please reach out to us and let us know.
Yeah, speaking of that girls team, a devastating loss for them. They, with a minute to go left in the game in regulation, before they would have to go to overtime, they lose on a free kick. The girl was maybe 25 yards out, hits the free kick, and it goes in. So what a devastating way to lose for them, but a very successful season by any stretch. They go out and they lose to Northridge, a team that the boys did defeat that allowed them to make it to the Final Four. But a very successful run for them. And while they do lose some key components on the senior side, they do have some girls that are up and coming that should still maintain the success level of the soccer team.
You know, this boys soccer team, unbelievable what they did this past Friday night is they defeat a number 8 ranked 6A Northridge team 8-1. It got out of hand early. Wildcat scored in the first minute. Cole Grogan assist to Grant Hudson. Hudson had a tremendous start to the contest. Cole Grogan, I believe, had 3 goals in the first half. They just continue to play strong. They're good defensively also. I think a lot of the acclaim goes to the ones that put the ball in the back of the net, but defensively is what I hear a lot about. Chase Burton's been talked about quite a bit, but a number of great defenders back there. Scott Sturdivant in the goal. Scott, you and Austin Till been best friends forever, and he's the head coach there, and they're doing unbelievable things in his second year at the head of this soccer program, and they look like they're potentially on the cusp of their first state title.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier in the summer when everybody went to Montgomery for all the all-star events, and the Benjamin Russell soccer team was one of the main attractions, and they talked about how the run from last year should definitely catapult them into the top of the rankings, and you could see they've been in the top 2 or 3 most of the year. But as you said, I know a lot of the talk is going to Phillip and Grant and Cole, but Sam Sturdivant in the middle, Eddie as well, and then you also have Chase Burton in the back, and then, of course, Scott Sturdivant as the goalie. But this team has been playing together for so long, and whenever you've heard them talk, when we've had them up here, whether it be the coach or some of the players, they talk about chemistry, and that's something that you can't make up for no matter how much talent you have. So, again, this is a team that's been playing together forever, and hopefully this weekend they can recapture some of the success that they've had as a younger age. But first team in 10 years to actually make it to the Final Four, and Austin was a member of that team as well. So he's going as a player, and now he has the opportunity to go as a coach.
256-234-6221. Love to hear from you. If you've got some comments, anybody that you would like for us to have on the program, please do. We got 3 great guests coming up here tonight, a number of events that are going on, fundraisers here in the local community. A great way for you to reach out to us is through social media. You can find us at Sports Blitz, at Sports with a Z on Twitter. Message us there. send over any flyer that you're passing along out there. We would love to do that. Want to make sure that we help all of our kids out and all the committees and groups that are out there fundraising, because it takes it these days. And so that will be some things that we'll talk about as well tonight. But 256-234-6221 is the phone number. We'll go ahead and take our first break here on the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Love for you to come out to JR Sports Bar and Grill each and every Tuesday night. We're up here from 6 to 7 with the Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Bring your kids out in uniform all season long, though, and they'll eat off the kids' menu for $3.99. And Scott will take a break. Horseshoe Bend softball team coming up next. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
All teams need players that can fill the positions. S&S Tire has that.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show live on location in beautiful downtown Alexander City at JR Sports Bar and Grill. We just opened up the show, Randy and I, kind of discussing some of the local area athletes, and the soccer team, as we mentioned, moves on to Huntsville, and they will take on Northview in the first matchup of the Final Four. But right now, we want to welcome in another successful area team. Right now, Coach Bernie Robidart of the Horseshoe Bend Softball Generals. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Sure, glad to be here.
Well, before we break in, kind of go into how successful area tournament you had, can we kind of talk a little bit about how the season actually went as a whole?
Pretty good. I walked in kind of late. We had the previous coach, Coach Vickers, took her dream job, and so I came in kind of late. But she had a really good team waiting for me. We just worked on some stuff, and we've come a long way. We've lost to some pretty good teams, some 7A teams, 1-0, 2-1, and we beat everybody so far we should have beat.
Well, when you're stepping into somebody who's been as successful as she has, and the team has been successful for quite some time, did you feel any added pressure filling in for those shoes?
Of course you do. You're walking into a successful program, they expect you to be successful. If you're not, then you have some real issues. But I was real lucky. Out of the 10 girls on the varsity team, I've taught 9 of them. And that made my life a lot easier because they knew me, I knew them. We kind of had some kind of, we knew what to expect from each other, how we felt about things, and that made my life a lot easier. got along with all of them real well, and the parents have made my life really easy.
Sir, well, we'll go ahead and dive into the area tournament. You guys finished first place in that. Can you talk a little bit about how that went and the teams that you defeated in order to get there?
Well, we had to beat Reeltown twice, and we've been pretty successful we beat them twice earlier in the year, so we were the favorite going into the tournament, and we played good ball. Everything we've done the last 5 or 6 games has been getting better and better. We came in, we played them. They've got a pitcher that was pretty good, and we went out there and hit her, and that's the whole name of the game. One of the issues that every softball team has is trying to have some offense, and that was our big goal this year, was to have offense, and we went out and played Reeltown, beat them 7-2 and 3-0, so we had some offense. And that's what we're looking for. Going down to Troy, we're going to be playing some good teams, and we need some offense.
Absolutely. Well, we're here with the head coach of the softball generals here at Horseshoe Bend, Coach Brendan Ropadart. And, Coach, as you said, coming into the season, you wanted to make sure you got some offense. So would you say that, I guess, has been one of the strengths of the team so far as the bats?
Well, we have really come along. We had some parents that gathered up enough money and built a batting cage for us. It looks just like a barn. We call it the bat barn. And we can go in there anytime we want, rain or shine, and just hit balls until we wear them out. And that can't but help. And right now we're hitting the ball pretty good. So, yeah, it really has helped. You know, back in the beginning of February before it was built, if it rained, we didn't practice. And now we can go in there and hit anytime we want all the time. The girls can even go in on the weekends and hit, and that's really helped our offense. Our timing is getting a lot better now.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about the parent support, how important is that for a program to make sure that, because everybody's trying to get money all the time. So when you have a valuable resource from the parent side, how beneficial is that for the team?
Oh, it makes it so much easier. They will do anything I ask them to do. And that just makes life so much easier. I had 3 team moms that if I had an issue about getting a uniform or getting something done, they were right there and it happened. The parents, the dads will come out and help when I ask to help. They're down there on the weekends with their daughters throwing balls to them. And the parents have stood there right there with me. You know, I've made some mistakes and they've told me, and I expected that. But all in all, they have been really good to me. Bunch of these girls have played travel ball, and to play travel ball, the parents have to be so invested in it, because we've had girls go all the way to Arizona to play. And if your parents aren't invested in that daughter, then they're not going to do that. So if they're invested to do that, they're going to be invested to play with us and to help and do whatever we can. And you just can't beat that kind of involvement. It just makes everybody's life better.
Yes, sir. And so obviously it is a team sport, but I don't know if you have any statistics. I see those there, but could you give us, I guess, some of the leaders from a hitting perspective and pitching perspective?
Well, Kinsley Blassingame is our pitcher, and she's good. She's got a strikeout and a half an inning. That's what she's averaged this year. Yeah, I raised my eyebrows when I realized that too. I mean, that's pretty good. You go into a ball game and you know she's going to strike out 8 to 10 people every game, sometimes 12 or 15 in a game. And it makes our life, everybody else's life, so much easier. So as long as she keeps throwing, as long as her arm's good, we're going to be able to ride that thing for a while. We've got 3 or 4 batters that have hit over 400. Kinsley's one of them, Aaron Vickers, Taylor Walton has hit over 400. If you have 3 or 4 people that can hit over 400, your pitcher's striking out 1.5 every inning, you know, that makes it pretty hard to lose sometimes.
Yes, sir. Well, winning the area tournament, as you say, you defeat Reeltown 2 times. Now you said you'll face competition on Thursday. Can you talk a little bit about the opponent that you'll be facing?
And this is the weird thing about softball. You can literally have an 0 season, go to your area tournament, win 1 game, go down to Troy, win 3 games, and go to the state tournament. Well, the team we're playing doesn't have a very good record. They're not even 500, but that doesn't mean that they can't play some ball. And that's one thing that we have to be really careful about. On any given day, any given team can beat somebody else. And we have to go down there and realize that, yes, they may not have a very good record, but that doesn't, they got there somehow. So they've got to be able to play a little bit of ball. I really think that this group is good enough that we have a legitimate shot to make a run. We've got some good pitching. We've got some hitting that's coming along. We haven't made an error, a really bad error in ages. I probably just, jinxed myself. But we have been playing some really good ball, keeping the ball in front of us. We've swung the bat pretty decent. We have a legitimate shot to do some damage in Troy.
Absolutely. Well, that's Coach Brandon Robidard of the Horseshoe Bend Softball Generals. And, Coach, we appreciate you guys coming up. And what we'll do after this segment right here, we'll bring up some of the girls and give them the opportunity to introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and take another break. More of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup live right after this.
Alabama Community College is
Three, two, one.
Welcome back to the Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, live from your location at Jar Sports Bar and Grill. About 20 minutes in, and we just had a great segment with the head coach of the Horseshoe Bend Softball Generals. And right now we want to bring up some of the players, give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. And so doing a little discussion there in between the breaks, and it looks like we found the talker of the group, Miss Sydney Meadows, a second baseman who is also a senior. So, Sydney, thanks for joining us.
No problem. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, Sydney, can you just give us a little bit about how the season is going and kind of how you guys have done?
Well, it's going really well so far. We won the area, but it started off kind of rocky. Not that he's a bad coach, but, we got a new coach, and then we had to deal with all that. We had to pretty much reinvent ourselves, but so far it's going really well, and Kinsley helps, the pitcher.
Absolutely. Well, as a senior, do you feel any added pressure on your end to make sure that the team is getting out everything performance-wise if they need to?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to keep everybody focused. We kind of goof off a little bit, but I think we're good. We're staying focused and we're doing what we have to do. So as long as we keep doing that, we'll be all right.
And Coach talked about how some of these girls on the team have done travel ball and have gone places. So how has the fact that you guys have been playing so long together helped you guys on the field?
Well, I mean, I've known these people since I was young, and that's really to win ball games and to do what you have to do. You have to be confident in your teammates, and I think knowing them that long has really helped that aspect of it. I'm really confident in all the people that play behind me and play in front of me, and I feel really, really good about where we can go this season.
What do you think has been the most enjoyable part for you during this season?
I like going to tournaments. I like spending all that time with them and staying in hotels and staying up late when we're not supposed to, do stuff like that.
Yeah, and so how does tournament play, I guess, help when you're getting ready for a playoff run? Because you don't necessarily play the same teams that you would play for area or in your playoff stretch. You may play a team that's in a larger classification. So has that helped you guys from a competition standpoint?
Oh, definitely. We play teams that are a lot bigger than us. Sometimes they're better than us. But then when we play 2A teams, it's really, really easy to just go out there and beat them. So I think playing tournaments as opposed to teams that don't play tournaments, we're way ahead of that. We're a step ahead.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, what we'll do right now is give the rest of the team an opportunity to introduce themselves. So if you go ahead.
My name is Madison Johnson. I'm a freshman. I play short and second, and I pitch.
My name is Rachel Hall. I'm a senior, and I play center field.
My name is Cheyenne Howard, and I'm a freshman, and I play shortstop.
There you go.
My name is Brooke Robinson.
Left field.
My name's Madeline Argo. I'm a senior, and I play right field.
There you go. Well, what we'll do right now is go ahead and take another break, and when we return, we'll bring up the rest of the members of the softball team. More of the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show come to you right after this.
Wireless advantage.
Two, one.
Welcome back into the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. We just had a great segment there with half of the softball team for the Horseshoe Bend Generals. And so right now what we'll do is welcome in the other half, and we'll have up here the other talker of the group, Ms. Kinsley Bassingame, who is a pitcher and also a sophomore. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we were joking a little bit about your position as a pitcher, and your coach was definitely fond of the way you've been able to pitch. So can you talk a little bit about how your season is going along with the rest of the team?
Our season's going very well. I'm already at 286 strikeouts this season in 186 innings, and that's a big difference compared to last season. And we're hitting the ball a lot better this year, and so I'm getting a lot of run support there. And then I recently committed to North Georgia to play college. I got a scholarship offer there. And so it's going very well.
Well, do you have a particular pitch that you use for your strikeout pitch?
My strikeout pitch is definitely my curveball or my rise ball.
Okay, 286 strikeouts, 186 innings. That's definitely impressive. And so, how does that help you? Obviously, when you know that you're on the mound, if you can get any type of run support, that definitely helps you going forward.
Yeah, it definitely helps me. I always tell myself to pitch like a 0-0 ball game, not pitching with a loss and not pitching winning either, and that helps a lot too. But definitely when we get run support, that's definitely the best.
I'll ask you kind of the same thing I was asking the rest of the team. What's been your favorite part of the season so far?
I'm like Sydney. I like the tournaments a lot. I like going and bonding and having experiences like that, and especially in hotels and stuff like that, and just getting to know my teammates better.
Where all did you guys travel for the tournaments?
We went to Anniston twice, and then we had a big trip to Gulf Shores, and that was a lot of fun. So we went to the beach one time this year.
And that's Kinsville Bassingame, sophomore pitcher for the Horseshoe Bend Generals. And so right now what we'll do is give the rest of the team an opportunity to introduce themselves as well. Hold on one second. I'm going to flip that up for you. Okay.
I'm Taylor Walton. I'm a sophomore, and I catch.
I'm Sydney Catcher. I'm a freshman. I play second and a pitch runner.
I'm Danielle Mitchell. I'm an 8th grader, and I'm a pitcher and a pinch runner.
My name's Elena Story. I'm a junior, and I play third base and outfield.
I'm Brooke Johnson. I'm a junior, and I play left field.
I'm Rebecca Norrell, and I'm a junior.
That is your 2015.
I'm a junior, and I play first base.
There you go. See, they said that she was the silly one out of the group. So again, that is your 2015 Horseshoe Bend Softball Generals that just won the area by defeating Reeltown twice, and they will travel to Troy this Thursday as they get ready for their playoff run. So congratulations on a great season. We wish you guys luck going forward. That'll take us up against another break. More of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup show live right after this.
If you're looking for the best chicken
back to y'all in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy. And Scott, we had 3 good segments there with the Horseshoe Bend softball team. High expectations for them as they move in to tournament play. They won the area tournament, moving into a potential run for a state championship. And it's fun time of year. We were actually talking about it a little bit at work today. This time of year, it's all about tournament play. You can have an outstanding season, but if you're not peaking at the right time, not swinging the bats well, as you close out the year, it can all come crumbling down there. So it looks like a Horseshoe Bend throwing it well, as they have for many years, pitching the ball and swinging the bats as well as they have in a long time. So looking forward to keeping up with them.
Yeah, for people who don't necessarily follow baseball or softball, for somebody to have over 1.5 strikeouts per inning lets you know how that's unheard of. That's super dominant, 286 strikeouts and 186 innings. So Kinsler Blast game is somebody that they'll be able to rely on going forward. But congratulations to them on a great season so far, and good luck in the playoffs.
You know, it's one of those things with softball, and it's different than baseball. If you have one dominant pitcher, you can keep one out there, and you can just keep rolling her in. And University of Alabama has proven that with a national championship the last several years with Raina up there throwing. And Auburn's been a little bit more by committee, but they've swung the bats as well as anyone. But softball has grown. That and gymnastics, those 2 sports on the women's side have grown by leaps and bounds over the last several years. And not only nationwide, but especially here in the state of Alabama with Auburn upping their ante to try to catch up with what Alabama has been for a long time.
Yeah, and when you have both in-state schools being as successful as they are, both Auburn hosting a regional, being in the top 5 or 6 all through the season, as well as Alabama, their tradition from the gymnastics side, it definitely boosts people's attention level and awareness for the sport.
We're going to go ahead and take another break here, but Scott, we've got the BRHS cheerleaders coming up next. They got a bass fishing tournament Saturday, May the 9th, which is coming up this weekend, Wind Creek State Park, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 2-man teams for $100, optional big fish pot for $10. Cash prizes out there with first place at $1,000, second place $700, third place $500, and fourth place $300, fifth place $200. So they're paying out 5 places. Make sure to pre-register there. We'll push that out on all of our social media outlets, that form. Hopefully you've been able to pull that up. You can make sure to go ahead and continue to get registered for that. But they got a lot of great sponsors that they want to thank whenever they come up here with you, Scott. So we're happy to have the BRHS cheerleaders. Again, if you've got things you'd like us to promote here in the Lake Martin region, that's what this program is for, all the way down to T-ball and youth league soccer to moving up to now. I'm excited to be able to bring them up here and have them on the program as often as possible. More Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
If you're looking for the best chicken fingers and wings in town, then look no further than JR Sports Bar and Grill in Ellick City. Order my favorite, the Wing Basket, or try an awesome burger, quesadilla, crab balls, or dig into a healthy and delicious salad. JR's offers daily lunch specials that save you money without sacrificing on taste. Check out their Facebook page for daily lunch specials. JR's can also cater any special event from weddings to tailgate parties and has a huge party room for any special occasion. Stop by soon at JR's Sports Bar and Grill at their location right off Highway 22 in Ellick City.
We all have choices. It's a fact of life.
Anyone there?
There are wrong choices that can lead to a lifetime of regret. Providing alcohol to a person under the age of 21 is risky. It's also against the law. If you are asked to host a party and provide alcohol to a minor, do yourself and your teen a favor. Choose to refuse. For more information on how to partner with the Tallapoosa County Coalition on Underage Drinking, or information call 256-215-3021.
What is Ruth Ann?
Spring Theater is on at Alex City Marine in Alex City and Alex City Marine South on the corner of 229 and 63. Now get absolute invoice price.
Welcome back into the Late Morning Sports Roundup Show, live on location here at JR Sports Bar and Grill. 256-329-2328 is the number to dial in for them, and they'll take care of any of your delivery needs as well as coming up here and getting some of their great food. We've had some great guests up here tonight, representatives from the Horseshoe Bend softball team, and right now we'll transition to some cheerleading information. Right now we'll welcome in the BRHS varsity cheerleading squad, and we have our guest up here, Miss Ruth Ann Ballard. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into what's going on this weekend, we were talking a little bit. So you guys had your first practice today. So how did that go?
It went well. We're getting ready for the Relay for Life and the fishing tournament we have going on this Saturday.
Fishing tournament this Saturday. So that'd be a good segue into why you're here now. So can you let us know what's going on this weekend?
Well, the BRHS cheerleaders are hosting the fishing tournament at Wind Creek State Park. Registration will start at 5 a.m. And it's two-man teams, so it's $100 per boat. And then there's also cash prizes for the first through fifth places, ranging from $1,000 to $200.
So obviously you guys like to go to camps and that type of thing is needed. So is this what this money will be used for, kind of to help prepare? Okay.
Throughout the year.
Do you know any of the camps that you actually taking place this summer, or have y'all not gotten that far yet?
We're actually going to Gulf Shores this year. It'll be our first year going there.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, we have some other guests here from the BRHS Wildcat squad. So if you don't mind, I know you have some sponsors you guys would like to thank, so you can go ahead there.
The BRHS cheerleaders would like to thank the following businesses for their support: Fishtails Bait and Tackle, Nationwide Insurance, Daughtry Agency, Docks Unlimited, Coons Corner, Shownuff Barbecue, Holman Floor Company, Ballard Farms, Lake Martin Building Supply, Goo Goo Car Wash, and Reynolds Mechanical Installations Incorporated.
Coker Bailey Flooring, Bailey Harris Construction, Cherokee Wash and Detail, Alex City Food Shop, Russell Lands, Bice Motors, Henderson and Coker, Tallapoosa Ford, Home Place Mortgage, Angie Richardson, and Big Mike's Baits.
And McDaniel Storage, Allen Oil of Sylacauga, GAM Auto Sales, Walmart, Alex City Marine, Auto Video Integrators, Little Black Dress, UAB Medical Heart and Vascular Clinic, Mark Tuggle, Riverbank and Trust, Alabama Paper and Supply Company.
Okay, so
Thank you to all of our sponsors, and we hope to see a lot of people at the fishing tournament.
there you go, and that is your BRHS varsity cheerleading squad. And Ruth Ann, again, can you just run down the details one more time of what's taking place this Saturday and everything that you can win?
Okay, the fishing tournament Saturday at Wind Creek. Registration starts at 5 a.m. Two-man teams, $100 per boat. Cash prizes from first to fifth place, ranging from $1,000 to $200.
Absolutely. Well, you guys out there listening, make sure you go out and support this weekend. It'll be a great weekend for a fishing tournament, so go out and support the BRHS Wildcat cheerleading squad. Again, we'll go ahead and take another break, and when I return, Randy and I will be back to discuss some more of the area sports. More Late Morning Sports Roundup show coming to you right after this.
Central Alabama Community College is
1.
Welcome back into the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup. Randy Lee alongside Scott Hardy. Great show tonight. I want to thank all of the sponsors and coaches and parents out there that reached out to us and having their kids up here and being a part of the program. That's what this show is for. We'd like to do nothing but run one group after another and one team after another through the program. So reach out to us, find us on our social media outlets, call us at Lee Marketing Group as well, and we'll make sure to bring your kids up here and make sure that they're part of the program. Scott, it's hard to do it when we move into the statewide side from 7 to 9 tonight, but to be able to do that here at JR Sports Bar and Grill for all that they do for the local community, it's what this show is for.
Absolutely. And as you said, this is a perfect time of the year for that. Most of your spring sports are starting to wind down now, but it's great to have teams in the community that we can look for to make a playoff run. As we talk about the Horseshoe Bend softball team, the BRHS boys soccer team. So, again, it's a great time in the area for spring sports.
You know, make sure to pass along again. If you're just now tuning in out there, we will be on the road in Huntsville this Friday. 11:15 is the start of the soccer match, and Brett and I will be bringing the call back here to Kowaliga Country 97.5. So we hope most of you are able to make the trip over to Huntsville, and we'll be there to support the Wildcats. But if you can't make it, you can tune us in on Kowaliga Country 97.5. Can't thank John Kennedy and Lake Broadcasting enough for all that they do for the local community when it comes to athletics through programs like this and allowing us to go out there and to bring the games. You know, there's a lot of communities out there, some of your bigger communities, that don't get the coverage that we're able to provide a lot of our kids around here, and that all has to do with the owner of the station and the station really caring about their athletics.
Yeah, and it makes it easier when you have teams that are going to be successful. So when you're in an area that is so talent-rich and athletic as the Lake Martin area is, it makes it easier to do so. So whether it be the football coverage or even the opportunity to cover a soccer game, which I don't know, like as you said, there aren't any communities that I know that will be covering this game and providing the opportunity for the local community to hear it. So if you see John out there, make sure you tell him thank you. And, again, we're looking forward to hearing you guys call it on Friday.
Definitely are. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, our Benjamin Russell High School Wildcats football team will be playing a spring game at Jacksonville State University against a perennial power here in the state of Alabama, Muscle Shoals. Brett and I have been asking or looking for this contest for a long time because they're very similar to us. They were right there at the cusp of moving up to 6A, one of the larger 5A schools, and then when you had the change up to a 7A classification, and we both fell right there in the middle of Class 6A. They were a power last year. We've been a power. First time in school history that we've reeled off 10-plus wins for 3 consecutive seasons, won 31 football games in the last 3 years. Danny Horn's doing a tremendous job at the head coaching helm here at Benjamin Russell High School. We couldn't ask for more. And this year, Scott, let's be honest, a lot of talent. Doesn't mean you win. It doesn't mean that you win all of them. But if there was ever a time to look and say, boy, we got them, it's this year. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is a class we've been targeting and looking at since they were in the 7th and 8th grade, a team that's been together for a while, a lot of talent spread out across the offensive and defensive side of the ball. So I think it's going to be a fun year. And as you say, you can't really look and say you're going to win a state championship or anything of that nature this far out. But from a talent perspective, it's definitely there.
I'll mention 3 quick kids that we'll highlight a lot. There's a lot more that you can mention, but I'll start at the quarterback position. And we got a real leader there in Tyree Gray. He's dynamic on the offensive side of the ball. He's also dynamic defensively back there at the safety position, but he's a good leader. And so some teams you don't want to get up here and say that there's high expectations because they'll wither. They aren't going to compete, and they'll get too big-headed. But when you got a leader like Gray there at quarterback, it really keeps your head grounded. His running back there in Chase Burton, both also play both ways. And then I think Daniel Bland has an opportunity with 2-time state champion in wrestling to be an all-state member on the offensive line side. Should be a fun year.
Yeah, and they're talking about he started as a sophomore. He was on the tackle side, and then moved him to a guard, and now it looks like they maybe transition him into a center, which from a collegiate perspective would definitely be a position that he would thrive in. He'd thrive anywhere in the offensive line, but the ability to be able to cross-train the way they've been doing with him lets you know what type of talent he is.
You know, I don't think that in a high Division I classification, I've been telling his dad for quite a while that doesn't mean you have to do it on the high school level. You definitely don't have to do it on the high school level. But when you look at his size, he's a tweener. He's 6'1", about 275. But it's perfect size for an offensive lineman, for the middle of the offensive line, not the guard position, but in the center post. And he's such a smart kid. And we saw Reese Dismukes, who didn't get drafted, surprisingly, for Auburn, but won the Remington Award. Kind of the same size that you see Daniel. And he played a center position for Spanish Fort, their first state championship. Brett and I got to call that one, and they ran a little midline option all night with a defensive back playing quarterback that's at South Alabama now, and Dismukes just blew everything up. So you can make that big of a difference at the center post. One that I've always thought Daniel looked a lot like is Josh Casher, that is at the University of Alabama. He's there on scholarship to play center, but he played offensive tackle at St. Paul. So, look, Daniel may still end up at tackle and play outstanding this year. Who are we to know? But I'm sure Coach Horn will put him in the right position.
Well, speaking of Casher, somebody on the defensive line, Tay Robinson is somebody when we played St. Paul's. That was probably his best game he had that season. He made him look not like the top tier prospect he was. So when you've got that big of a talent on the offensive side and then somebody on the defensive line who can do that, I think the front four and the offensive line are going to be very successful this season for the Wildcats.
Make sure to come out to JR Sports Bar and Grill. Bring your kids out in uniform. They'll eat off the kids menu for $3.99. Had a big crowd out here, Entertainment District in Alexander City tonight, and I want to thank all of you that are out and supporting the downtown and Main Street initiatives, and very good businesses down here that deserve for you to shop local. So you make sure to spend your local dollars. You got Mother's Day this weekend. Spend those dollars here in Alexander City. I'm going to go ahead and head out the back door back here, Scott, and head over for Sports Blitz Live from 7 to 9 tonight. And Scott will stay here to finish it up. More of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup right after this.
Discount Grocery says go General. Look.
Two, one.
Welcome back into the final segment of the Sports Blitz Lake Martin Sports Roundup Show, live on location each and every Tuesday from 6 to 7 in beautiful downtown Alexander City at JR Sports Bar and Grill, and we can't thank them enough for being such gracious hosts for us each and every week. And again, $3.99 on the menu if you bring in your kid in their uniform, whether it be practice or game uniform. and they'll be able to eat off the menu for $3.99. So again, this has been a tremendous show. We've had the opportunity to talk a little bit about the BRHS soccer team, who again defeated Northridge 8-1 in Tuscaloosa this past Friday, and they will take on Northview in the Final Four in Huntsville at 11:15 this Friday. Brett, Randy, and Justin will travel up Friday morning and bring you guys that, so you can tune in to Lake Broadcasting 97.5, and they'll make sure that you get all of the coverage that you need for that game. And again, for people who don't necessarily know, this is again the first time in 10 years that the soccer team is only the second time in school history that the soccer team has made it to Huntsville to the Final Four, and they faced Northview from Dothan, a team that they've actually defeated already this season in tournament play. Either them or they defeated Northview. And you look at the bottom tier of the bracket, you'll have Fort Payne and Pelham, which two teams that were 1 2 and 3 alongside Benjamin Russell all season long. Fort Payne maintained its spot as the #1 team in the state for the most part in 6A. So if the Wildcats are able to defeat Northview and from Dothan, it looks like Fort Payne would be the team that they would face, but you never know. But congratulations to Coach Austin Till and the rest of that team. I know that they're excited about this opportunity. So we also had the Horseshoe Bend softball team on, coached by Coach Bernie Robidart, and in his first season, the Generals move on and they win the area tournament versus Real Towel, defeating them in 2 games. And they will travel to Troy this Thursday for an opportunity to advance in the playoffs. So with the arm like they've had, we had the opportunity to talk to Kinsley Blasingame as well, and 286 strikeouts in only 186 innings. So that's a little over 1.5 strikeouts per game, or per inning rather. So when you're able to strike out, as he said, 8 to 10, 12 players every game, and you know you have that type of dominant arm, especially on the softball side, if you get any type of run support, then you have an opportunity to be successful. And closing it out, we had the opportunity also to talk to the BRHS cheerleaders who are discussing their fishing tournament this Saturday, May 9th. Check-ins at 5 o'clock, and that'll be your chance to win. They have prizes ranging from $200 to $1,000. If you place 1 through 5th, you'll have that opportunity to win the money. So again, this has been a fantastic show. We want to thank all of our sponsors for being a part of it. And before I let you go, I have to, we'll talk about it on the state side, but for those of you who are listening locally, Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, definitely wasn't what I was expecting. I actually thought that Floyd would go down. I was saying it all week for 2 weeks building up. I said Pacquiao in the 9th round, so obviously that did not happen. But Randy and I, I'm sure we'll dive into that on the 7 to 9 show, Sports Blitz Live, statewide, Channel 80, and Channel 3 locally on ACN, Channel 80. So again, for our producers in the back, Justin Clayton, and for my co-host, Randy Lee, I want to say thanks for joining the Lake Martin Sports Roundup show. Randy and I will bring you Sports Blitz Live, coming to you right after this.